Okay, so if you are watching this video, then that means that you have already watched the previous video that introduced probability, defined it, talked about how to find it, and then we did a few examples. All right, so today we are just going to practice 2 more examples, even though this one actually has 4 in it. We're going to practice 2 overall problems, just calculating probability. Okay, sometimes we might leave it as a fraction, sometimes we might write it as a decimal, sometimes we'll do it as a percentage. All are correct. Okay, it just depends on what they ask for. If they don't specify, you can do any. So our first problem. Okay, so honestly guys, I'm doing this just on the other side of my notebook page. So if you are actually writing this in a notebook or on paper, just do it on the same sheet or just flip it over and do it on the other side. Okay, so if you want to pause the video right here and just, sorry, I'm readjusting myself on my chair. If you want to pause the video right here and just write down the overall notes, go ahead and then you can just calculate it along with me. If you're just watching this just to watch it and just get further understanding, all right, then don't pause it. But I would recommend pausing it and writing it down just like we would in class because, yeah, it's just going to help you. So we have this bag of marbles or Skittles, whatever you want it to be. Now, you might not be able to see the colors perfectly. I tried to turn on this light so they would really show up for you because if not, they kind of looked not accurate. So these 3 are green. These 3 are blue. This one's yellow. These 2 are orange. And these 4 are red. Okay? You randomly draw 1 marble out of the bag. Okay, so this, realistically, I would have done a picture like this for bell work. It would say this, and then I would give you probably 3 of these. And I would ask you guys to calculate it. So, try to do these. Okay, try to do these without me. So, you randomly draw 1 marble out of the bag. What is the probability of drawing green? Okay, so if you remember from yesterday, probability of an event. So the probability of drawing green. The event here is green. The number of favorable outcomes. So basically how many of the marbles are green over the total number of outcomes, the total number of marbles. So the probability of drawing green. How many marbles are green? 1, 2, 3. 3 marbles are green out of how many marbles total? How many possible outcomes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 3 out of 13. 3 marbles are green out of 13 marbles total in the bag. Okay? Remember, if you want to change this to a decimal, you do 3 divided by 13. So 3 divided by 13 equals, and we just say round it to 2 decimal places. So 1, 2, the 0 just means you just leave it. So 0.23. So the probability is 3/13 or 0.23, 23 hundredths. What's that as a percent? We move the decimal 2 times to the right, 23. So it's a 23% chance of drawing green. Is that likely? Not really. 23% chance, that's not very likely. If it's out of 100, nah. All right, what about the probability of drawing green or red? So you can draw green or red marbles. Okay. Well, how many marbles are green or red? Well, we have 3 green marbles, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 red marbles. So total, we have, I'm just going to circle it in yellow so I don't mess it up. Total, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 marbles. We have 7 marbles that are green or red. Okay, because I'll be happy. Pretend if it's like, all right, if you draw a green or a red marble, I'll give you 100% on your test. So you're like, well, how many are green or red? Well, we have 3 green and we have 4 red. 3 plus 4, we have 7 marbles that are green or red. Out of, over, how many marbles total? We already counted. There are 13. So 7 out of 13. That's the probability of drawing a marble that's green or red. If you want to change it to a decimal, 7 divided by 13, 0.53. So it goes on. So round it to 2 decimal places. Is it 0.53? Well, look at the next number. It's an 8. That 8 is 5 or higher, so that bumps it up. That bumps the 3 up to a 4. So 0.54 or 54% chance. So 54% chance. If it were 50%, it'd be 50-50. It's as equally likely to happen as it is to not happen. 54% chance, that's a little bit more likely. What if it said, what is the probability of not drawing purple? These last two, I'm really curious. I really wish we were in the classroom. I want to know what you would say to this. What is the probability of drawing a marble and it's not going to be purple? Not purple. So remember, it's a fraction. How many marbles are not purple? How many marbles up here are not purple? All of them. None of them are purple. So all 13 of them are not purple. All 13 marbles are not purple out of 13 marbles total. 13 divided by 13 is 1. 1 as a percent is 100% because the decimal is right after it. So you just move it 2 times over and put the percent sign at the end. So there's a 100% chance that we're going to draw a marble and it won't be purple. Okay? So if I said, hey, if you draw a marble and it's not purple, then I will give you $500. Well, then you're definitely going to get $500 because there's a 100% chance. It's certain that you're going to draw a marble and it won't be purple because none of them are purple. What's the probability of drawing white? I know this pen isn't actually white when I write with it, but it looks white, so we're going to use this one. What's the probability of drawing a marble and having it be white? Well, how many marbles are white up here? None. 0. 0 of these marbles are white out of 13 marbles total. So what's the probability of drawing a marble and having it be white? 0 out of 13. Okay? 0 divided by any number is what? 0 divided by any number. 0 divided by 13 is 0. 0 divided by any number is 0. So that's 0%. So we had the probability of drawing green was 23% chance. That's not likely. That's unlikely. Probability of drawing green or red was 54% chance. So that's pretty equally likely as unlikely. It's almost 50-50. Then we had a 100% chance of not drawing purple. That's certain that you're not going to draw purple. And it's absolutely impossible to draw white because it's a 0% chance. Okay, so the last example we're going to do for this, and then after this, if you guys have actually watched these, paused the videos, gone along with me, you should feel pretty confident then to solve the Khan Academy titled Simple or Basic Probability. Because I pull my problems right from there and model them after them to make sure that you guys are prepared. So the last problem we're going to do. Superman is going to call one person from his contacts at random. So he's going to call one person at random. You know we like random. Now Superman has 24 total contacts. That Superman doesn't have that many friends. He only has 24 contacts in his phone. 20 of those contacts are superheroes. So he's got Batman, he's got Spider-Man, he's got Catwoman, he's got Thor, he's got Iron Man, all right? So he has 24 contacts total, and 20 of them are superheroes. Now, what is the probability, what is the P? What's the probability of calling a person who is not a superhero? So what is the probability of calling a person and it's not a superhero? Okay, so how many contacts are not superheroes for Superman? How many of Superman's contacts are not superheroes? Say it out loud. How many contacts are not superheroes? Well, if 20 of the 24 contacts are superheroes, then that means 4 of them are not superheroes, because 24 minus 20 is 4. So if we have 24 contacts and 20 of them are superheroes, then that means that there's 4 left that are not superheroes. 4 out of how many contacts total? How many possible outcomes are there if he just randomly picks a contact? Well, there's 24 options. So the probability that he's not going to pick a superhero is 4 out of 24. Okay? Can you simplify this fraction? Yeah. 4 goes into both numbers. 4 divided by 4, 1. 24 divided by 4, 6. So it's a 1 out of 6 chance that he is going to call someone that's not a superhero. 1 out of divided by 6. Okay? 0.16 with the bar on top, or 0.17, because the 6 rounds it up to a 7. Change it to a percentage, 2 times to the right, 17%. So there's a 17% chance that when he calls someone, it's not going to be a superhero. That's not very likely. Okay, but extension question. What's the probability then that he calls someone and it is a superhero? Think about it. What's the probability that he picks someone and it is a superhero? Well, how many of those contacts are superheroes? How many are superheroes? 20. Out of how many contacts total? 24. Which makes sense. If 4 of the 24 were not superheroes, then the other 20 out of the 24 are superheroes. You can divide both of these by 4 again. 20 divided by 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. It's 5. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So if there's a 1 out of 6 chance that it's not going to be a superhero, then that means it is a 5 out of 6 chance that it is going to be a superhero. And I'm going to predict that if it was 17% chance that it's not a superhero, and we know total it has to be 100%, 100 minus 17, I think it's going to be an 83% chance that we call a superhero. 5 out of 6. Let's see if 5 out of 6 is 83. Yep. So that just shows you that when you add up all the options, so we had not a superhero and a superhero, it totals to 100%. 1 out of 6 plus 5 out of 6 is 6 out of 6, or 100%.